biggest reset of a week. Just got back from holiday. I want to get back on it. I had 5 days of just indulging in all the foods, which was so nice, so needed. I had way too many Aperols, ate my body weight in pasta every single day and just had the best time, but I've never craved routine, my own cooking. I felt like I was inflamed, if you know what I mean. You know, when you get to the point where you're just like, oh, I need to move my body. I did do a few runs, so that is on the agenda this week. We've got lots to sort, lots on. Going to have some really productive days and get back into a routine with training. I haven't gymmed, I think, in over a week. I was also a little bit unwell. I had a bad stomach just before we went away, so I feel like I've missed 2 weeks of training and I feel soft and like I haven't had a pump in the longest time. So that's also in the plan. I also wanted to talk to you about what to do when you get back from holiday and why not to jump into, say, a restrictive diet. Glutamine. So this is best on an empty stomach. It really helps with just your actual gut lining. I am back on the instant coffee. Something you might have heard me mention before is there's the difference in caffeine intake from an espresso, from the coffee machine you get from Costa or a coffee shop is craziness. And if I'm ever trying to just be more mindful of my actual caffeine intake so that I'm not super jittery, as I feel like sometimes if I overdo it, I just get really anxious and stressy, and I feel like I'm moving, but I'm moving nowhere, if that makes sense. Like, it's that sort of feeling. So at the minute I've just gone back to instant coffee and it's much weaker than my actual coffee machine, and I just drink coffee way too quick anyway, so this works quite well because it's like an Americano style that I'm currently having. I'm back in Spain for the next few weeks, and today I need to plan out my life, where I want to be, where I need to head. Creatine is so needed. This is something that I usually have every single day, but I haven't had it in about a week or so. 6 grams. Chocolate, vegan protein. I'm making brownie batter style oats. So we've got this on the agenda. I kind of use a mixture still with pen and paper, my phone notes. I was feeling pen and paper, like might go back to pen and paper for a bit. So we've got glute day, feeling new goals. I need to reorganise my actual Notion. That is what I use to organise my life. I couldn't imagine life without Notion. Film a video for Flowness Club, send content and ideas for my socials and also Flowness Club social media. Plan my next YouTube videos. I really want to put out some real good, like, valuable content, as always. Like, that is my mission, and kind of get a feel for things. Like, I don't like planning stuff that I don't get excited about. Then follow up with some invoices, organise a delivery. I need to get some Gym King, the brand that I work with, to get some stuff to Spain. I need to organise that and get my steps in. I could keep going, you know, and you just feel like you could write and write and write, but I'm going to stop there because I don't want to get into that habit today of putting things down and then just not being able to get anything done and feeling really shitty. We're really just like refreshed and ready to go all in. So we've got egg, bacon, tuna. I got extra tuna and then some salad, avocado in there. Got home about 40 minutes ago and I was just thinking, I haven't filled you in on this trip. It's 10 to 9, had a really productive day, but you know, when I had 5 days off in total, I feel like I need to fill you in properly tomorrow on the trip, because I feel like I could write a book after the past 5 days in Italy. It was one of the best holidays ever and just so funny. I have some really funny stories, so I'll fill you in on that tomorrow. But this has been a really good reset day. So I've got on top of my washing. I don't know whether I'm going to regret this, but I got home at 7:30. I've put my bed sheets in. I don't know why I've done that because they're not going to be dry, but I've just managed to change them over, popped them in the tumble dryer. I'm having quite a late dinner, but it is what it is. I really wanted some fresh sheets sheets and they were in dire need. I've also made a tray bake, an oven tray bake. So I've just put sweet potato, asparagus, mushrooms, green pepper, some turkey and chicken breast. I just went and finished my steps and I'm just having a little tidy round. What I sometimes do is I don't do all my steps outside. If I only need to like tidy up at home and run round, then I save about 2,000 steps to do that because that takes energy in itself. I might whiz around with the Hoover, but I'm just trying to make sure everything's in its place so that I can just be nice and organised. Good morning, my love. It's Thursday, the next day. I'm just sat out here with my coffee and we need a debrief, me and you. I said yesterday I would fill you in. I just needed to get, some productivity back in my life yesterday. I did only have 5 days off, but usually if you also work for yourself, you'll totally get how it's really hard to actually take actual time off. Like usually when I take a day off, I'm still doing some things like emails or I don't know, like it's hard to just ever be off, whereas I was well and truly off for 5 days. It kind of worked out in a funny way because my phone broke on the 3rd day. I was trying to get it fixed as well and there was nothing open in the area to get. It was actually only my screen, thankfully, but I couldn't get it fixed. And then I was like, how weird. And this has happened to me before when I've tried to work on a holiday or whatever. Like I've literally broken my phone or my laptop stopped working. And I always think it's just a weird serendipity. So I kind of took it as just a moment to literally surrender. And I've been reading The Untethered Soul. And that is literally all about that, how like there was a moment when my phone had broke out and we were sat in a group and my head was just like, oh my God, how am I gonna reply to this? How am I gonna do that? Like getting really stressy. And then I was like, I can't actually do anything. Like, why do we stress about the things that we just can't control? So there was a big lesson there. It was one of my bestest friends' 30th birthday. So we went away. We booked it about 6 months ago. From Rebecca's dad came as well. Literally from start to finish, I have never laughed so much. Like my cheeks, I feel like my cheeks are still in pain from laughing. It was just good for the soul. It's the first time since I started my bikini prep last year that I just fully let go, and it was exactly what I needed, as in I didn't track a single macro, didn't weigh myself once, didn't do much exercise. I think I did 2 runs the entire time. I didn't do my steps. I just was, if that makes sense. Going forward, I'm going to do that more often because usually when I go on holiday, I do like to train. But we had a full itinerary, like we were packed out. None of us were on our phones other than to take pictures, and it was just so much fun. On the first day, we just were chatting away, literally just so much talking, laughing, joking, being silly about the silliest things. Like, just felt like I was 20 again. It was also my birthday. On the 14th of July, I turned 27. What is happening? Why are we're growing older. But I love how every year you do get wiser, and I feel like this July I've just been reflecting so much on a lot of things. Oh, I drank as well, by the way. I had a few too many Aperols, and then the following day we had on our itinerary, it was a boat day, so I was like, oh, God knows what kind of boat, but the weather apparently was really bad. So my friend's dad that morning was on a run with Mason, and they'd seen a sign that was like canyoneering or kayaking. So like, should we just book it? So anyway, that was booked. All 15 or 16 of us walked down to this like kayaking thing, hungover, tired. Next thing you know, we are going down like a stream and rapid, the ones that are quite lethal. Like I've always said I'd never do it because it looks like you could just hit your head on the rocks on the side really easily. But when you're in a group of people, not one of us said like no. So off we went. I was fearing for my life. Like I'm up for anything, but this was next level on little sleep, and all we'd had was breakfast, and it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, very dishevelled. And the best part was like we'd put on these wetsuits and bright yellow helmets, just got put on this coach, and I just thought, oh, at least we'll all be in a group boat. Nope. This woman said, right, go grab your boats. We all had these little individual red boats. And then I thought, where do we get into the stream or beck, whatever you want to call it? So we're dragging these boats through the woods, like really Bear Grylls vibes, like having to pull the twigs apart. I was just like, I never had this. One by one, we're just all getting into this stream, like jumping into these little red boats. Off we go, and I thought, oh, it's actually quite nice because you have a little rower. And then in the distance, I see this stream, and the woman said, right, we need to park up. So beach up the boats again. when, bearing in mind, we just all got in it, and I thought, oh, Jesus Christ. So dragged the boat back up, and then she said, right, we need to do a protocol, a safety protocol, in case you fall out of the boat, like, you know what to do. So we're in these life jackets. The next thing she's saying, we just jump off like down like a stream, and you just got to relax. So I sort of was like, right, I'm going to go towards the back and just watch how everyone does this, see the technique. So they're going one by one. I was honestly thinking, what is actually happening? It was bloody hilarious. My friend Jess, she went in front, she looked like she was crying, and I was thinking, no, I'm about to actually cry right now. This woman just said, right, just hold on to your life jacket. Whatever you do, don't put your legs down. That's obviously an automatic response, isn't it? Like, you're going to put your legs down. Me being me, I took it so literally. So I'm there, like, with my eyes closed. I just thought, right, just go with it, just go with it. Going down this stream, legs, like, I was just like floppy. I'd sort of like turned round. And then at the bottom, everyone was like, swim, swim. But I was still thinking, no, she told me not to move my legs. So I was just literally going down the stream. Two of my friends had to like save me because they were shouting swim, but you know when you freeze, like I had just froze. I was listening to what that woman said and not moving. Like, she should have said swim at the bottom. Literally, I'd still be in that stream now if I hadn't have been saved, but I was slightly mortified, so embarrassed that I just like didn't move. I think I was honestly in shock. Yeah, got back in our boats, off we went down the rapids into some bushes. I asked the woman, how long are we on these things? Like, how long is this experience for? And she was like 2.5 hours. Bearing in mind we're like 40 minutes in, I just thought, good God, am I gonna come out the end of this? Am I gonna survive? But no, it was actually fine, like past a certain point, and it was quite funny. And then people like jumping off the boats. Never experienced anything like it, and that is just like, that's gonna be the highlight of my trip. But we did a beach club another day, played lots of Uno, ate lots of Italian food. We ate out at some nice restaurants. All the pasta, pizza. I had a Nutella pizza. Chef's kiss, delish. But yeah, as you can imagine, I've never ever felt more like I just want to get stuck back into things. I've got so much exciting things that I want to bring, or that are so on the cusp of being ready to the Flowness Club. We've been working on the app background. Supposed to be keeping this a secret, but do you know what I mean? So that is ready to go. It's taken a little bit longer, as does any sort of app, as does any development, like anything tech. Flipping takes ages, like back and forward. Mason's been on the phone to the developers, I've been on the phone to developers, trying to speed things up. When you speed things like that up, I feel like things get rushed and things get missed, and I like doing everything like this. I did feel like this was necessary though, like I really wanted to bring you up to speed. So there was that, and I'm thinking of changing and also testing a new split. So I'm following the Shape and Flow program, which is my Flowness Club glute growth program. If you've got the most stubborn glutes and feel like can grow in other areas, like the belly grows, maybe the quads grow, but the glutes, they're a bit stubborn, that is the program for you. This is going to sculpt your physique. Yeah, lots of exciting things that are going on behind the scenes. And then the journals have landed, so you can get your hands on my limited edition journal. Let me show you a blank page. So this is what I use every single day, that has been the biggest part of my life, like really well and truly carried me through my really low days. And if you're someone who is trying to work on improving your mindset, like trying to become a more positive person, trying to change your life in your habits, like if you found that you struggled with discipline or like keeping consistent with things, like this is going to really help you with that. It just starts to create, like, day to day, you're automatically thinking of these things before you've even written them down. And it's also nice to see, like this morning I woke up feeling whatever, and then you can look back, see certain patterns around certain times of the month. There's so much more, like this journal has done a lot for me. I kind of wanted to give you some practical tips for getting back on track after a trip, a weekend off, or if you're just feeling a little bit softer, not as strong as usual, is start with one win first and then start from there. Don't bother trying to fix everything at once. Just get in one solid workout, then your steps, then focus on protein, one thing at a time. Don't kind of rush everything at once. Second is make sure you have got a plan. I think sometimes when we try wing it, that is just when we start questioning ourselves more, then end up trying trying to do about 15 exercises in one session and kind of not really getting anywhere. Like, you're not actually being able to lift that heavy, so your workout in itself just feels a little bit like you're trying to force something that's just not coming. Whereas when you've got a plan, you just feel way more organised and like, right, I'm back on my mission. Third is switch from emotion to action. So if I acted based on how I felt, I wouldn't be at the gym. So just remind yourself that the feeling comes after the action, and just get those reps in. So I'm just in this organic shop. Got lots of nice like snacky bits, macadamia, and these are like corn cake chocolate chips. I'm gonna get some toasted nori snack, seaweed crispies. Okay, my loves. Got back home, had a really productive work kind of day, and just done a little bit of an itty bitty shop. You know when you go and get your food shop bits from one place? I quite like Mercadona in Spain. They're my go-to faves. And then there's this other mini shop, you know, where you go and get your condiments from. And I also went to a really good organic shop as I ran out of some protein. Let's do a little food shop haul because I got some of my favourite bits. Got some 0% cottage cheese. This is like rocket dust to find, isn't it? A 0% fat one. You best believe I got 3 of these. These are such a nice snack that I'm liking. Something that is literally like a skin snack all in one. So I've got some anchovies here that are in olive oil, and I put that on like a little corn cake. Chef's kiss. Delicious. Got some 0 sugar tomato ketchup. I'm really craving cheese at the minute. It is currently my time of the month. Whilst I've been regulating my menstrual cycle again, I just feel like I've been getting more random cravings. So I got some cheese. These come in these little pouches, so I've made like a quick dinner, which I'm going to make for Mason in a sec because he's just gone to collect a car. But look at these, they're kind of like baby bells, but I like that they're square, not square, but like a little mini cheese. So I had 2 of those. Yeah, I feel like I'm back in my cheese era. And I got this I think it's coriander, this like herb and garlic mix that I've been really liking seasoning food with. I got some protein yogurt. This is 0% fat. I've really missed protein yogurts like this. There's no flavourings or anything in this one. Some courgettes that I've been liking chopping up. Some crispy seaweed crispies. I've had 2 packs of these today, which are really nice snacky bits. And then the woman, she said to me, she was like, because I went in last week as well to get some herbs, which I'll show you in a second. If you're from the US, you'll say herbs. But she's like, wow, you're glowing today. And I just come from the gym, so I feel like I was just a bit sweaty. But she was like, what have you done? Like, you're glowing. And I honestly think as well, just having a week off does you the world of good. And sometimes that is exactly what you need. But she was like, oh, I've got a gift for you. And she proceeded to give me these oil blotting papers, which was really sweet. But I was also kind of like, oh my God, I'm just really looking sweaty. I have got some spearmint tea leaves. So if you are a PCOS girly, you need to get your hands on these. So this is different to peppermint tea. So spearmint is, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at a man that looks like he's about to jump off his balcony. Oh, please don't do that, please. No, he's gone back in. I don't think he would have made the pool, which I'm just looking at above. But yeah, the difference between spearmint and peppermint is spearmint is scientifically backed to help with reducing androgens. So really good for PCOS girly, and the science is 1 to 2 cups a day. So you don't need to overdo it, like that's not gonna help. But this is what I've been having. I've got this straw, so I'm gonna make this tonight, but basically you can put it in your tea so you're not having to suck up the tea leaves, but it's so handy. But yeah, that is my little mini haul that I wanted to show you. I'm gonna go out for a walk in a second. I'm just gonna tidy up and then also make some dinner. So I'm gonna make a turkey soya negra spaghetti, gluten-free like pasta thing. So we're gonna make a creamy kind of pasta, 1/4 of red onions, mushrooms, just thinly sliced, mushrooms, onion, to a pan. I'm just gonna use a little bit of water and then just cook these until they're nice and soft. Some turkey strips, you could also use chicken strips. I put 2 kind of breasts this in. Onion granules, some garlic, and then some of this chopped garlic and herb type dressing, a generous amount. I love anything garlicky is a bit of me. I'm just gonna fry this off on a medium heat. What I'm gonna do is make a creamy sauce. 2 of these light cheese, 50 grams of cottage cheese. You could even use yogurt if you've got that in, or like creme fraiche. A little bit of the pasta water, half of a lemon squeeze in. I actually can't. Gone everywhere. Oh my God, how did that even happen? I barely even touched the flipping thing. No, it's actually not too bad. Although I can't see because it's flipping white. I feel like it's on my face. I am lethal. At least it's not red. Like, imagine if that was a red pasta sauce. On another note, this is creamy goodness. Like, this actually looks really, really good. Pour the creamy sauce in, and then I'm just gonna let that simmer. And then I've just cooked the pasta, which I'm gonna pour in. Right, that is it in all its glory. I wish you could smell this through the screen. Garlicky, creamy yumminess. Just need a bit of Parmesan for the top. Friday morning, just done some steps and a little bit of work on my phone. I went for like a mountain walk, which I haven't done since I've been back, which was really nice. I've been leaving my steps till later in the day, and what I'm thinking to do is start dividing them up a little bit better so that it's kind of less overwhelming. If you also struggle with trying to reach a 10k step goal, the best thing you can do is really think about how you can fit it into your lifestyle, so it's not like a big thing that you have to wait until the end of the day and then it just feels like a mammoth task. So what I do in afternoons is any of my like calls that I need to take, or email work where you can literally do that on your phone. I'll just walk when I do that. Otherwise it's just really unattainable. I'm gonna go and train lower body. I had my oats this morning. I'm gonna make some pancakes. Maybe later on today I want to test out a recipe I've got in mind. Like, I'm thinking like a green pancake with like a custard sauce. Super random. I was wanting to give you a bit of a training update and just kind of where I'm at with things. I would say I would actually call it recovery. Like, I feel like my recovery from that bodybuilding show that I did in December has taken so much longer. And I say recovery because I remember thinking, and people saying you'll be in a vulnerable position post show, which if you've never really heard much about this world, basically you're stripping body fat for an extended period of time and you're getting to a type of lean that is very unhealthy. And now I fully understand. Like, I feel like my body was responsive. I'm not naturally lean, but I don't carry loads of body fat, if that makes sense. Or like, everyone's got a different view of that. What's lean to someone might be not lean to someone else, sort of thing. Where I was hormonally was a totally different scenario, and I thought hormones would take a shorter amount of time, but it's taken me longer. I've really ticked every box for months and months on end. It's taught me a lot in that process, because when you mess with your hormones or something, they're just the most humbling things. I'm so grateful for our bodies, because our bodies are insane, but it really has taken so much longer than I thought. Really, really had to learn what feels like the hard way with a lot of that side, and it's been challenging mentally, physically, every kind of way, and I haven't done any form of cutting since December, so I've just been building and kind of maintaining. Right now I am at like a healthy body weight that my body really likes. I touched on training earlier, so currently training in the gym 4 times a week, and then I'm just considering testing out possibly a new split where I do a little bit more low body work, because I feel like I'm happy with where my upper body is and I kind of just want to maintain. But I love upper body days so much, so I'm going to see what I come up with, and I'm going to take you through a leg day today, how I'm currently structuring things. Training has been in a good kind of place. Like, I'm loving my sessions. I have been a bit disrupted just routine wise, so I feel like I've not been as like dialed in, making sure I'm progressive overloading, and especially when you've travelled, been on holiday, like sleep's disrupted, so I never put too much pressure, and you also shouldn't do the same. Like, if you're just getting back into a routine, if you've just even had things come up where you've been a little bit busier, don't go into the gym expecting to lift the exact same weights. Like, just focus on the small wins that day, which is like getting through your full session without skipping a set or rep. It might not be maxing out you know, weights this session, but you can build back up to that, and that's the beauty of it. Like, you really figure out what routine makes you feel your best when you have contrast. And I think I've had a lot of time where I've been so routined, and how you feel, you know, like when you've drank alcohol and all these things, and that is the beauty. A bit of deep talk right now, but that's the beauty of life. Like, that is how you figure out what you do like, what you don't like, what you're missing out on. It might not be what you actually want to miss out on, but that has done me the world of good. Like, having that week in Italy, having lots of late nights, not doing any steps, seeing how I actually felt in my body, how groggy I felt in the morning compared to how I usually feel. Whenever you feel like you're in a monotonous routine, or like you're just taking things for granted, I think contrast is one of the best things that you can ever do, which is why I think holidays are always great, because you can indulge in certain things that you don't make or you don't have every day, and test things out. Maybe you need a bit more of that in your life. Like, maybe you do need, maybe you think, God, it's not even, you know, it doesn't make it that much of a big difference, and a week really doesn't. Like, yes, you might come back from being away or whatever, being out of routine, feel more inflamed, have more food volume, see that your scale may increase, but within about a week, things really do settle down, that drops off, and it can just do your mental a real good job. So that is my chat from me to you, my love. Wanted to share where I'm up to with things. Do you know, one of my favourite feelings is, you know, when you've just blitzed your space, everything's clear, I feel like I can really think straight. And the journals have arrived into the warehouse. Ta-da, ta-da. I'm so excited. I actually found some picture of my first ever online journal. It was this, like, this is where we started, and now we've got a whole flipping journal. If you've bought yours yet, I'm so excited for you to physically get your hands on this. It's going to change everything for you. And if you haven't got yours yet, I really don't want you to miss out, because we've not got a huge amount of stock in this first run, and it is limited edition. So I'll make sure I pop that down below. I really, really want you to get your hands on this. It's just really nice having something physical and that we all have. So I can't tell you how that feels and how excited I am. And it's been a process in that, like, you know, you see people with all these brands and stuff. It's flipping hard work. By the way, Mason's in the background, I think, on the phone to his dad. It feels like a really big moment. I feel like we need to do some celebrating. That's something I don't feel like I do enough of. You know, when you work so hard and the logistics has been really difficult. Mason's been an absolute godsend. You know what we were on about this morning, just how you can wake up today, tomorrow morning, and you can decide you want to be Jenny 2.0. You do not need to wait for permission, to ask for permission, to change and evolve. And that is what I love about just being a human, you know. Like, if you think about it, we can just wake up and we can shapeshift realities, we can change, we can shed parts of ourselves, we can try different lives, like what I was saying. And that is how you figure out, like, I think the route to unhappiness is when you stay stuck just because you're known as a certain thing. I think that is like the best feeling, when you just feel free to be able to shift and change. That has really been just on my mind as I was working away. And I don't think I told you about what happened in the airport. So on the way to Italy, I thought I was about to get arrested, because Mason had packed, you know, birthday poppers that explode out, like the confetti things, big ones. Mason had packed 2 into his suitcase, but when we checked our luggage in, his suitcase in as mine, you know, like, because it doesn't matter, like, we have the exact same suitcase, same colour and whatnot. Pitch this, walking towards the aircraft, all checked in and everything, and a guy came and said, oh, you need to come with me, and it was like a Guardia civil person, didn't speak much English, and Mason was like, oh, we'll go together, and then he was like, no, just you, because it was under my name. So my heart was like pounded. I was thinking, what on earth is, like, what if I packed in my suitcase and then he said something like explosive. So I was like, what the hell have I packed in there? Like, I was thinking about makeup bag, because I just bought some new foundation. I was like, it's definitely not that. Anyway, I had to walk, like, across the aeroplane like field, and I could see that the whole flight had boarded. Basically Mason's suitcase, and because he's got a lock on it, they couldn't access it, so they opened it. These 2 like party popper, you know, like the confetti things, and they're like, oh, not allowed, like, so I had to take them out, and I was like, oh, it's my friend's birthday, but it just made me, I wasn't laughing at the time. I then had to literally do a walk of shame. We delayed the whole flight by an hour. My seat was 31. and I boarded at like the only door that was open, so it was number 1. So I kid you not, I had to walk from the top of the plane all the way down, and it was just obvious that I had delayed the whole thing. And then just as I hadn't even sat down, so everyone's staring, the guy on the tannoy was like, "Oh, we've missed our slot for takeoff, so we're going to be on the ground for the next hour." And I've never wanted just the ground to swallow me up more in that moment. Like, everyone was looking. Mason was trying to talk to me and ask what happened, and I was like, do not say a word. You know, when you're just in that mindset, I was like, do not speak to me right now. But it was bloody hilarious, and it was fine. But you know, just moments like that, gosh. So following a workout on the app that I've been testing in the background for what feels like the longest time, just making changes, tweaks where I can. And my goal with having our own actual Flowness Club app is so that you've just got everything in one place. It is almost there, almost ready, and I can't tell you how good it feels to be using my own app and having the best workouts with this, and also having something really clear to follow. So starting off with RDLs, I'm just doing dumbbell RDLs, more so focusing on mind to muscle connection, because I've had that big chunk of time off that was just over 10 days, like I was really not well. And then doing some squats with the machine. I couldn't really get on with this actual machine, to be honest. Like, my foot kept slipping off. I needed some grip from an actual trainer, and I prefer going barefoot so I can really kind of spread my weight and actually feel my glutes more by pushing more pressure across my actual foot. Something I can talk more on if you're someone who struggles with glute engagement. And then I went into some single leg presses. I can't tell you how tight my hips actually felt doing these. These are always so humbling. Like, there was a point where I couldn't even put a weight on doing single leg presses, but just make sure your hips are nice and square. Like, you don't want to be sort of misplaced, as in have one leg pointed north and the other south on these. Like, make sure you're really nice and stable when you do these. And then I did some abductors. This is without a doubt my favourite glute abductor machine to ever exist. I always find it hard with the weight thing. I always do this. I put on the weight on, you know, where you rack the weight, so it isn't actually the weight of that machine, and then I fly the flings wide open and only then realise, and then have to readjust myself. But we get there in the end. But I go to failure on these, and they always feel so good. I feel like I've seen good progress in my side glutes, and it's definitely one to add towards the end of your session. Yeah, I just did a shorter session today, just easing back into things. There's no point overfacing yourself when you haven't trained properly in a while, and then you end up with the worst DOMs. Good morning, it's Saturday. I went to bed last night thinking about the pancakes that I'm about to make, and I know exactly what ingredients that I want to use, but I'm going to test out a new recipe, and this is how you create your unique recipes. So I want these pancakes to be green. I feel like I'd seen green pancakes somewhere, you know, and you can't stop thinking about it. And I want them to have cottage cheese, banana. I'm debating, I don't know if to just use egg white instead of protein powder, but sometimes like a vanilla or banana protein powder makes them a little bit sweeter. Okay, so in a blender, we're going to add 40 grams of oats, half of a very ripe banana, 1 whole egg. We'll do a second egg white whilst we're here. And then I've got some 0% cottage cheese. You actually can't taste this, like, do not worry about that. So we'll do 80 grams of cottage. And then just a handful of spinach. This has got magnesium, folate in. You really can't taste the spinach or cottage cheese in this, by the way. So about 30 grams of that. A little bit of sea salt and a little bit of cinnamon as well. And then let's just whiz this up in the blender. And then I've got a little bit of olive spray. And this is how it's looking. Very green. I just tried a bit of it, and it's definitely sweet enough. So bring that to a medium heat. And then only flip them once they have started to set a little bit. And then I'm just going to make a little protein kind of whip, like cream. So I've got about 50 grams, and then a little bit of vanilla.
brings us to the end of this weekly vlog. I've loved our time together and I can't wait to catch up with you in the comments. Let me know what you've been up to, and also if you want me to bring these back, please let me know. I can do different themes. We can do like wellness, nutrition, fitness related ones each week, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Lots and lots of love.